Welcome to Coffee Break with Rachel V. Hill, presented by Superbook Sports. Taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel V. Hill.
Happy Friday, everybody. Ooh, a Copper Mountain mug today. I like it.
Mountains are always in my heart, Rachel.
I know. I need to get up there.
No matter what. Good morning. How's your foot?
My foot is doing better. I took my first steps on it today. I have a concert tomorrow. I'm going to Kane Brown, so I'm really hoping that tomorrow is going to be a lot better. But I'm going to be on the hunt to get a boot. So that's my next mission to kind of check that off and find a boot. All right.
Kane Brown, spell his name Kaneekain,
Kane.
Kane. All right.
Kane Brown, and then his wife is Caitlin Brown. So I love that.
Is she Kaicai?
I think she's Kaitylyn.
Okay.
Anyways, but yeah, we're questioning.
Now, does she take the last name Brown, and does she spell it Braun?
Not Braun, which is the great way to spell it, in my personal opinion.
Traditional way, yeah.
Yeah, but it's Brown. Mountain question for you, though. Have you been up to Breckenridge, and have you gotten the crepes from the crepe stand?
I have. You got to time that out because
the line.
It's great, but it's I put it at 20 minutes in terms of the wait. And you got to it's good. They're good. But I've waited longer than 20 minutes, and they're not that good. So it is amazing to me how often there is a long line at the crepe stand. It is crazy.
All the time. I've definitely stood in line for probably 45 plus minutes, but I have been craving one of those crepes so bad. We were going to go up later this afternoon trying to do it between coffee break and between the game. And
wow.
I'm like, I know we were going to try, but with a bum ankle, I'm like, I can't do it.
Well, maybe you get some preferential treatment though if you get the ankle thing going.
Just show up, like, please let me go. I just drove an hour and a half.
Time out. Why can't your lovely boyfriend who gave you a C- for your clothes shopping? Why can't he stand in line and you can kind of just be somewhere else? Like they got picnic benches kind of like up in the back there of the crepe stand. Why doesn't he just stand there?
I mean, he could, but like I enjoy getting out and like walking around, and there's just not enough time for how slow I'm walking for us to be able to do it between coffee break ending and between like pregame for the game tonight. If I was in my normal speed, I'd be like all the way up there.
I mean, I don't want to walk you through all this, but why don't you just stay up there in Breckenridge and watch the game up there?
Well, I didn't think about that, but we have a concert tomorrow night too, and then
I
know you're a cat family, so we got the dog though. So then we have to find somebody who can watch the dog or get a dog-friendly hotel.
Yeah, get a dog-friendly hotel. Wait, but do I really got to walk you through this whole thing? Do I gotta?
No, but I'm going to Hawaii in 2 weeks, so we're trying to be good with money. Okay, DMac. Okay.
Don't you have a tent?
Have you not been paying attention to the weather? You think a dog and a tent and rain is a good mixture, my friend? Absolutely not.
No. I mean, none of it's good. It's all like doable. None of it's good. I mean, it sounds like a complete nightmare to me. But, I'm not the one with the dog and the boyfriend in the first place or the bum ankle. So, I mean.
That's true. You're well off compared to me. Jamal Murray, though. His hand, as we will bring in our very own Jake Shapiro. Oh my goodness, you guys! I can't wait for you all to see Jake Shapiro in just a second. This hand, though, is absolutely brutal. Yeah, this is yikes. But real quick, look at
Jake.
My
God!
You guys ready for this?
Wow!
Nice!
Wow!
We're hanging out at the pool deck right on the beach. That's where we're
at.
Jealous. Yep.
Looking good, Jake. Looking good. Okay, well, I don't want to keep you too long from your pool day. I'm sorry to interrupt, but give us a lowdown. What did we learn yesterday?
Yesterday at practice, you got Michael Malone really backing Michael Porter Jr., which isn't the most common thing He came out in full support of him, offered him some confidence, said we need him to keep shooting. He's going to win us a finals game if he continues to shoot. So I think when you look at yesterday's stuff, I took away from it that the Nuggets are really confident in what they're doing. They're back to this like cool, calm collectedness and focus that they've had throughout the course of the playoffs, while also being completely locked in. And I don't think anything's changing. I don't think anything should change with what the Nuggets are going to do going into game 4, or frankly, at any time, unless this goes to 7. So the Nuggets just got to play their brand of basketball and pose their will. And by the way, they still haven't even played a good game in this series. They've maybe played a good half, and it's been Jokic and Murray besides that.
That's a great point. DMac, do you have any questions for Jake? Like I said, I don't want to keep
No, but Jake is dancing in some dangerous territory, because we had James Merilatt buy a pool, and we all know that when asked, James jumped in the pool with his clothes on. So I just want to say it's been done before on Coffee Break. That's all I got to say,
I forgot about this moment, but Jake, it is a tradition when you're by a pool.
Yeah.
Listen, you're in Miami. You were up till 6 a.m. You got to be a little tired and just go for it.
Well, hold on. Where is the pool? Show us the pool, Jake.
Like all the way back there. You see where the screen is? So it's like back there. So I'm not like right by the pool. I'm on the deck, and the pool's like, I mean, I will do it if you really need me to, but these are the underwear I was supposed to wear to the game tonight. So like,
oh no, Jake, we really need you to. I mean, but at the end of our interview, I mean, don't. As long as you say we really need you to do it, I mean, yeah, of course we really do need it.
So not happy with us, D-Mac.
I'm like willing to share details of my night before I'm like willing to jump in this pool right now. Like I'm supposed to go to like Little Havana. I'm supposed to get a little luncheon. I don't know if this pool thing is gonna like mess up with. Like,
oh no! But here's the problem. We really need you to do it.
God damn it. Okay.
I've watched you deliver hot dogs all the way to the station, Jake. You never back down from a challenge.
Now, I don't want to be accused of being a bully, Rachel. So, Rachel, we got to promise being you, Jake, we're not going to say another word about it. Period. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But you said, if we really need you, which is a really strange bar to set. But that being said, zip the lip. What was your night like last night? Talk to us about your night last night.
So you want it both ways. I got you, DMac. I understand. I was at Prime 112 in South Beach, one of the most famous steakhouses in the country, rubbing it up with some people in the NBA. I will say, in this very spot I'm in, there was a Heat player until about sunset, kind of living it up at a party I was at right here.
Okay.
Oh, that was interesting. I've run into some circles, guys. It's been some weird stuff. And I have yet to find my bed before sunrise in the 2 days I've been down here.
And Jake doesn't have a hotel room for tonight. He's just partying until he's got to go to the airport, right, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a Red Bull in the bag. We're good.
Oh my God.
How are the Nuggets players comporting themselves? Are they being good boys?
I'll put it this way, D-Mag. If the Nuggets were not being good boys, I would be where they would be being bad boys, and I have yet to see a Nuggets player.
Okay.
So I think they're all right.
Good to know. How was the overall feeling yesterday? How are the vibes up there? It looked pretty chill.
It was really chill, but they're still locked in. Like they're back to that mentality that's gotten them there. I honestly came away with the realization. I took more from the Heat press conference. You learn more in the losing locker room sometimes than you do the winning locker room. I think the Heat came to the realization in the third and fourth quarters of Game 3 that the Nuggets are a better team than them. And that's kind of the vibe I got from the Heat. Jimmy Butler's promising winning another game. He's like all about winning this other game. These other guys, they kind of seem done. But you have to keep in mind, when the Heat have been at their best this year is when they've had no pressure, when they've had nothing to lose, when they have felt done. So you can't say the Heat are done until they've literally been killed and the fat lady is singing, you know?
That's a good point. I'm walking into tonight's game thinking we're gonna see a win from the Nuggets, but I am cautious with how I'm going to approach it, especially because we know how good of a fourth quarter team that the Heat are. And we saw, I feel like, the best fourth quarter game from the Nuggets in game 3, Jake.
Yeah.
In this series.
They won the fourth quarter. They weren't great to end the fourth quarter when it didn't matter. Nikola and Jamal did enough when it mattered earlier on in the fourth quarter. I don't think they've played a great game. I just keep coming back to this. Like, we haven't gotten KCP going at all in this series. We haven't seen Michael Porter Jr. hit his shots. He was good in game 1. He's been not good the last 2 games. Aaron Gordon is basically unplayable on offense for stretches of the game right now. And, you know, Jeff Green has been completely erratic. I mean, there's a reason why Christian Brown was their 3rd best player in game 3. So, yeah, when you talk about coming to the fourth quarter, I've been saying this the entire series. You need a 3rd guy to step up. It happened to be Christian Brown in that game, which was shocking. But, like, where's Cowboy Bruce? You know, there's some guys that you would expect to step up before Christian. And I think it's not necessarily about the fourth quarter or Nikola and Jamal. All those things are going to happen if they get more contributions.
What adjustments are out there that the Heat could make that we haven't seen?
Go all out after Nikola and Jamal. Like, we're talking about hard doubles on both of those guys. They're already blitzing Jamal, but like hard doubles on both of those guys to the point where you're leaving Michael Porter Jr. wide open because you're like, well, he hasn't hit a shot. I guess we just hope and pray that he doesn't hit one. So I think the Heat are out of options in terms of matching the Nuggets' size. But I mean, there's some things they can do. Like, they can throw Zeller in there with Bam Adebayo at the same time to try and get the rebounds back. But neither of those guys can shoot. So you're going to have 0 floor spacing. I mean, you're just jacking up shots anyways. That's why the Heat are here, is they're just jacking up shots. So the strategy that the Heat could use to get back into the game and in this series comes with some major caveats of how it will hurt them as well.
Jake, what's going on with the Nuggets trading away their 2029 first-round pick? Walk us through why we're seeing this happen now.
Okay, so the Nuggets, like some of the people that are in this year's second round, they already have the 40th pick in this year's draft, early second rounder. They acquired the 37th pick as well. So they have 37 and 40, which means they're targeting a couple guys in that spot, or they're going to move up slightly. What this trade really does is the Nuggets couldn't trade a first-round pick until 2029 because of the way the CBA works. So if you were to make one of these moves where maybe you trade Porter in a first, or you know you're trading a first-round pick to replace Bruce Brown, something like that, it was an invaluable pick because it was 2029. So most people aren't going to see that pick through as GMs. The Nuggets now have a 2024 first-round pick to go with their own, which means the Nuggets can trade either the one they got today or their own 2024 first-round pick. So basically, the Nuggets moved up the timeline on when they can trade their first-round pick, and they acquired a second-round pick this year and a second-round pick next year. So interesting move. It's just showing that they're fully committed to building a championship window, continuing this around Nikola Jokic, and they're not worrying about things down the line. They're going to need guys that come in through the draft, whether it's a first-round pick late or an early second rounder, that come in and become rotation players because of the fact that they don't have that much salary cap space because of the max deals, and they really don't have that many assets. So they need to they need to take as many swings at it as possible in the 20 to 40 range, and that's what they're doing. They're getting picks in that range.
Okay. Well, Jake, we have Jake was a hockey player. Maybe he can't swim, only likes frozen water.
Jake's on the move. Uh-oh.
I'm not staying at this hotel. I also have my AirPods in. So hold on.
Take the AirPods out. Show us the view, though, my friend. We're jealous. We wish we were down in Miami. Oh, there's the pool.
Oh, that's gorgeous. That is beautiful, man.
What's the weather, Jake?
It's 85 and sunny.
Oh, killer, man.
Yeah.
Absolute killer.
All right.
Wow. No way. No way. What about the underwear?
I guess I'm wearing a dirty pair of underwear to the game tonight.
Jake Shapiro. Jake Shapiro.
Come on.
Oh, I was going to tell him, go all the way.
Come on. Yeah. Yeah, Jake.
Good job, Jake. Good job. We have so much fun on Coffee Break, you guys. So much fun. Great job.
Woo! Love it.
Okay, now we need to see who had a better jump, Jake or I know it's okay. You're good. You're
good. You're
Miami,
awesome.
my friend.
Awesome.
We will talk to you later. Oh my goodness. Too good. Okay, we will go back to Jamal's hand though. While Jake gets a towel. That was priceless. Look at this floor burn. Well, I thought he had jammed a finger or something, DMac. It was actually a floor burn for Jamal Murray, and that looks super painful.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's on his yes. But it is on his left hand, not his shooting hand, his right hand. It does look painful, but that's something you can you can put stuff on and you can treat, and I doubt it has a huge impact. Although, yeah, looks painful. But I doubt that'll have any serious impact.
No, I agree with you. I love everybody in the comments saying W for Jake. Hell yes, Jake. Nuggets are winning now for sure. Did he jump in or fall in? LOL.
I love too that he absolutely did what we asked, but he didn't get his hair wet.
I know.
And we should have been that's our fault. We should have been more specific about a cannonball or something like that. But he absolutely 100% did what we asked. We just we didn't ask enough. But
I'll give him though, because he does not. He's already checked out of his hotel room. He doesn't have a hotel room for the night. He has no place to go change. Like he only I think brought a backpack and clothes in his
Yeah, he's got nowhere to. I mean, you can just.
So he's gonna probably go into the bathroom and like use the hand dryer. Like we have to give him major props for this one. That is too funny.
That was great. You know, you're right, because it's the fact. Like James, when he jumped in the pool, was like staying there. You can just go in and change. What Jake did was absolutely next level, considering he's got nowhere else to go.
No, huge shout out to him. That was fantastic. I was texting him earlier. He had some really great stories being down there, so it sounds like he had a lot of fun. So hopefully he didn't take it too hard. But sit out on the rooftop and be dry by tip off. LOL. Yeah, he could sit out there for the next 30 minutes and he's going to be dry for sure.
But you're always just like, uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? But
it's going to come for us one of these days, right? Like, we're going to be by a pool somehow, and they're going to be like, all right, you guys. We're going to be like, okay.
I did it down in Tampa last year. I jumped in. I don't think we were on coffee break, but I was on with the Zoakley show from a pool in Tampa. But I was staying at the hotel with, like, swim trunks and stuff on. No.
Next level, man.
We have definitely set a coffee break sort of tradition here now with hey, if you come on coffee break and there's a pool nearby, you got to jump in. The end.
Yes, you
story.
Do. So good.
It's only fair, Rachel. It's only fair. At some point this summer, you and I do the same thing in our full clothes. We can't be in a bathing suit, and maybe the more awkward, the better. So that's fair is fair. Fair is fair. So we got to figure that out sometime this summer.
I love it. I am always down for it. I love being by the pool. Anytime you can get me by a pool. Let's get into game predictions for tonight. What you got?
Well, I have the Nuggets hitting shots. They haven't really hit shots the entire series, so I have them hitting some shots. So I got it 128-103. I mean, I got a blowout of epic proportion. I mean, scoring 103 points for the Heat will be good for them. So I can imagine just a more, in general, wide open game, period. Yeah. They'll probably shoot better, and the Nuggets are, bound to shoot better at some point. So I have a big win for the Nuggets tonight.
The number is 211, over or under.
Well, I got it 128-103, so I got it way over, I guess.
Yeah, you do. Holy
yeah,
snow.
I do.
Okay, I saw 112, 100 Nuggets, 112.98 Denver. Okay, a lot of people are liking the 112. DMac in an ice bath at training camp.
Well, sure. I don't know where I can find an ice bath for the Muggles, but I'm happy to participate at some point.
You can do it after you hike the Manitou Incline, because aren't you still doing that?
I could, sure. That'd be that. We were supposed to do that right at the beginning of training camp. So that was when that said. I mean, you realize they don't have a ice bath at the top of the Manitou Incline. It's
I know, but you could make something up. I don't know.
Sure.
Something. A creek?
Sure.
No. We'll figure it out.
I got no problems with any of this. Are you kidding me? I mean, that sounds fun to me. No problems with any of it.
119-107 Denver, 97-78 Denver. Everybody picking Denver.
What? 97-78?
Low scoring.
It's like a college basketball game.
Low scoring game.
Rachel, what do you got?
I went really high last time. I think we're having to switch in. I'm feeling like I'll stay away from the 112 since that's what everybody is on. Going like 115, 106-ish, something like that. Garbage time minutes type stuff. So fingers crossed. Are we hoping for just an easy win? We come back for game 5. They win it at home in front of Nuggets Nation, and then we have a parade sometime next week.
Yes. It's in terms of pressure and stress. I'm ready for a victory lap, a couple of games of a victory lap. They have earned it. They deserve it. I don't need the stress and frustration, and we certainly don't need to send Jake back down to Miami. And I think the Nuggets team has earned it. I think I'm glad there's a game tonight, and there was only one day off between games, because the rest of the series is just so drug out. It just feels like everything is just taking forever with this. And that's good and it's bad, you know, but right now all the momentum is with the Nuggets, and it flipped like that, you know. I mean, it was, I don't know, and Malone's yelling at everybody, and they had dinner at Jeff Green's house. So, hey, Rachel, again, it could switch again. If Miami gets on a roll and you realize it's going to be a grinded out, and at the worst, you're going to be going back to Miami, you just got to suck it up. But I'll tell you this does not feel like a grind at this point. It doesn't. The games haven't been really that close, except for the game, obviously that the Nuggets lost. So when you think about it, they've played 3 games in like 15 days. Only one of those games was really like, stressful. And you are traveling down to Miami, and you do have time off. I mean, it's I don't know, man. When I was on the road with the Avs, it just felt like you were gritting your teeth the entire time. I mean, this is just at such a more casual, sort of relaxed, fun pace. And I think I know the reason too. You feel like you're just better than the Heat. It doesn't feel like you have to accomplish something unbelievable or that it's an incredible upset. It's like, we're better than these guys. We're Globo Gym. We're better than you, and you know it.
No, I agree. And it feels very different than last year's Stanley Cup run, because we knew how good Tampa was, obviously back-to-back defending Stanley Cup champions at the moment. But this does feel different. It just feels like it's another like bump in the road for the Nuggets compared to that where it was like a grind. And, they have the morning skate. So it feels like the day of is so intense where it doesn't feel that way. Like we had the practice yesterday, shoot around, and then we're like, all right, we just got to get to the game tonight. It does have a very, very different feel, but it, like you said, it does just feel like a bump in the road for the Nuggets and not like, all right, here we go, battling now.
I'll give you something else. I remember just how beat up both teams were, Tampa and the Avs. Yeah. I mean, they were just, it was like a mash unit of injury that the guys were overcoming. Look at the Nuggets from yesterday. I mean, okay, Jamal Murray's got some floor burn.
I was like, that looks pretty rough to me.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, compare that to the injuries the Avalanche were going through. The guys couldn't walk, I mean, I think, Jamal's going to be okay. You know, it's just, which is all great. It's all great. The fact that they've been able to stay healthy after some significant injuries and Hey, listen, Michael Porter Jr. is going to snap out of it. I really do believe that. So is KCP. I believe in both of those guys, and I think they're just going through a little bit of a rough stretch. I got a breakout game for MPJ with 5 threes, and I'll give at least 2 threes to KCP, if not 3, okay? And with those guys combining for what I would hope is 24 points, okay, with 8 threes, and then I'm going to give them another 10 points on top of that. 2 of them, that's 34. I'll give 60 points combined to Joker and Jamal. So that's 94 points there. And then, I'll give AG 8 points. That's 102. And we'll just keep going from there. We'll be all right.
Okay. I'm not too worried. Like I said, I'll have my popcorn ready.
I'll give another 10. I'll give 10 to Bruce and 8 for Christian Brown. And I'll give 6 to Jeff Green. And, that takes me to 128. Don't check my math. It's close enough.
I was like, really, DMac? Okay.
It's close enough.
I like it. I like the confidence that you're feeling, too. You know what else I like? We saw our very first Val Nichushkin. Oh, just kidding. Val Nichushkin update.
Yeah,
we have not seen anything from him and his, I'm not sure if it's wife or girlfriend. Brennan says wife, but she posted this on her Instagram story. There's Nichushkin back in Russia. It's good to see. I'm happy we finally get a little bit of an appearance from him.
Yeah. Well,
people are mad at us, DMac. People are actually really mad at us. The word is like so sympathetic.
I'm gonna remember that Val let everybody down. I am not gonna forget it. So I'm not saying hey, listen, everybody makes mistakes and deserves to be forgiven, That's a tough one, though, for me, Rach. I mean, he really, really let his teammates down. He really did. And I don't think they were going to win the Stanley Cup this year, okay? But you don't do what he did. You don't. You have to be responsible. And, of course, I want him to be healthy and all that sort of stuff. But, it was irresponsible behavior.
Mm-hmm.
It was irresponsible behavior, one way or the other. And if there's a set of mitigating circumstances that we're not aware of, make us aware of them. Because right now, it looks bad. It looks really, really bad. So, and I don't know. I literally don't know what the mitigating circumstances would be. I can't even imagine what they would be. So I've got a rough I'm not going to lie, man. And you know me, man. I was a huge Val fan. We were on coffee break, and I said, hey, he's an all-world guy, and watch out for Val. And I defended them signing Val to a contract and letting go of Kadri, okay? Hindsight being 2020, my goodness. So I've defended him. I've liked him. He's been fine to be around. He doesn't really talk all that much, but he's okay to be around. I think he's been a good teammate up until the point he was a terrible teammate. And that is just going to be a rough one for me to get over.
Yes. We have a question. Will he come back? By the league and by team standards, he is available to come back. They said
Rachel, he'll come back because they don't have a second line. I mean, Gabe is gone for the year. They never really got a real second line center. Not really. Val would either be the top line or second line wing, depending on what you wanted to do with Lehkonen. He was a firm, part of your top 6. Your top line probably next year at this point would be Lehkonen, McKinnon, and Rantanen. And then you don't have anybody else. I mean, not really. I mean, you've got good depth, but Helm's going to retire, I think. I don't know what's going to happen with Cogliano. Logan O'Connor's fine as a depth sort of guy. They have to sign JT Compher if they want to keep him or not, but I don't think JT Compher is a 2C. I think it's a good third-line center, great third-line center. And then, what do we got? Mulligan and Matt Nieto and Lars Eller. You see where I'm going here? I mean, it's not like we've got they've got some work to do, Rich. They've got some significant work to do.
Yes, they do. That's for sure.
They'll bring Val back.
Yeah.
Val will be back. That's what I guess I'm saying. Val will be back because of those reasons.
And Val will be back with a lot of questions to be answered, and how they handle that will be very, very interesting. But of course, at the end of the day, DMac, we just want, a healthy people, and it's good to see him out walking around back in his hometown.
Okay. Rachel, I got to be honest. I'll just keep it real. I don't care. I don't care. I don't wish anything bad upon him. But like once the season's over, your personal life is your personal life. I didn't for 1 second think his life was in danger, or he was. I didn't think that. I didn't think that at all. I think he was the victim of some bad decisions on what turned out to be a bad night that he was trying to have a good night. And I think it was. So I really don't care that he's walking around in his hometown or doing whatever. I really don't care. That is absolutely irrelevant for me. I had no inclination that he was going to be like out forever or hurt or anything like that. I think this is really, in my opinion, this really feels like some horrible decision making. And for that, I'll remember. I'll just remember. So good. You're walking around, whoop-de-doo.
I'm seeing all the comments of being like, DMac hates Val. DMac doesn't hate Val Nichushkin. I think DMac is extremely disappointed in the decisions that Val Nichushkin has made.
How could you not be, though, Rachel? How could anybody defend him?
I am. It's so unfortunate, and my thoughts go back to this woman, and that's where it will always go. She's here, and she doesn't want to be here, and it's gross. Like, let's just call it what it is. It is a gross situation. I feel so bad for this woman. I hope she was able to get some help that she needed. And hopefully somebody helped her get a passport.
We will never know.
That's what's heartbreaking.
If you're concerned about somebody, forget about Val walking around with his, in his fashion model life. That's what he lives in Russia, by the way. How about her? What happened to her? Where's the follow-up story with her? Did she ever get her, passport back from the bad man? I mean, anybody following up on that? I'd be happy to see her happy walking around someplace in Russia. Never mind Val. I hope she's okay.
I know. No, I'm with you. That's where.
But we'll never know. We will never know.
And to be honest, I don't think we will get any answers regarding the situation at all.
I agree. I don't think we will either.
Which is also a bummer, and I do feel bad for Abs Faithful on that note. We will move on to Broncos, though, because you were down there for their final day of OTAs. What did good old Shawnee boy have to say?
Sean's fine. I mean, I get his rhythm now. I get who he is. I get him. I get it. I got it. And I do believe he is what the Broncos needed. How about that? I don't think he's what the Broncos needed. I'll leave it there. I think he's setting the right tone. I like how he's going over things in meticulous detail. I like how efficient the practices have been and how they've been run. I love the fact that everybody's in good health. You haven't really heard about the only guy who's really injured is Baron Browning, who hurt himself training in the offseason. Had nothing to do with what he was doing with the Broncos. He's got a meniscus injury that he got training with Von Miller's trainer, Hell's trainer, who loves to do hills and stairs and sand and all sorts of stuff. And it just, it wasn't good for Baron Browning, unfortunately. And you can get hurt in training sometimes. It's just unfortunate when it happens. Other than that, Tim Patrick's recovering. Javonte Williams is recovering. So those guys aren't full go yet, but they're out there. And you got through a running conditioning phase, OTA football phase, and then they have minicamp. And Sean Payton did say yesterday, hey, listen, if you've seen one of these practices, get ready. It's going to be the same thing, next week for the minicamp. So, and I'll take him at his word. I have no idea if they're going to do field day. I did ask him yesterday, how do you like this time of the year to wrap up? And he said with a whistle. And I love that answer too. So we'll see what happens next week. I'm not that concerned about it. I think he is who the Broncos needed at this time. And we'll just see if it connects or not. But so far, hey, I'm here to report good news. So far, so good on everything that you can imagine. And they have been very quiet, mainly because we've had the Avs and especially the Nuggets. And on another reason, they've kept it kind of quiet on purpose. But I think they're in as good of a place, Rachel, as they possibly could be. They added Frank Clark to help the pass rush out a little bit. 1 year, $5.5 million deal. And, there's rumors about them being interested in Dalvin Cook. I was also told, don't hold your breath on that. But we'll see. So they're still making some moves.
Okay. Well, Frank Clark's obviously a big one. Also, I love the timing of when the Frank Clark news dropped. It was just slightly after Sean Payton was done talking. Just slightly.
Yeah.
That's funny how that works.
I don't think they were hiding anything. I think he would have been fine to answer questions about Frank Clark. I don't think that's a big deal. It's just, that's just how it goes.
Do we like the Frank Clark signing or no?
Yeah, it's 1 year deal. 5.5. It's not that much money. He's had, he's only 30 years old. It's kind of a prove it sort of year for him at his age. I like it. I think it's good.
Gets to face his former team in the Kansas City Chiefs. So in terms of production, what do you expect to get out of Frank Clark? And do you really think it was just for adding depth because of Baron Browning, or is it a replacement of Baron Browning?
No, it's definitely a depth move as far as I can tell, because you can't really count on Randy Gregory. Baron Browning's got an injury. Jonathan Cooper is good, but it's just kind of a good, solid depth move. Hey, listen. If they can get 5 or 6 sacks out of Frank Clark, that would be outstanding. That would be really, really good. And he does provide. The guy's a Super Bowl champion, I mean, he provides some leadership, some experience. I don't think it's like a world shaking, turn the tables on the Chiefs sort of deal. I think those days for Clark are probably gone. But, for what it is, Bill Belichick said about roster building, you need guys for different things. Sometimes you need guys who are going to be there for 10 years, sometimes 3 years. Sometimes you just need a guy to be there for a week or maybe a month or maybe a year. So you have different puzzle pieces to fit in, Rachel. And, for a 1 year, helps bolster the defense, gives you some depth at a relatively, medium sort of football price. Frank Clark fits the bill. So, hey, kudos to the Broncos, man. It makes sense to me. And they gave themselves some availability because, they made other moves, including, getting rid of their kicker. So, so that, I mean, if he's not productive and the Broncos kickers are shanking kicks, then we have some problems. I guess that's bad, but I hope that doesn't happen.
Okay, well, let's do some little fun facts. So this is his total career: 264 total tackles, 59.5 total sacks, 2 interceptions. I always love seeing them for the bigger guys. But most sacks in postseason history. He comes in at number 3 as we will bring in our very own Andrew Mason. Good morning, Mase. How are you?
All right. How are you guys doing?
Mase, are you by a pool?
No.
Okay.
Shucks.
I mean,
we got Jake to jump in a pool. We wanted you to be in the pool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, Cecil's got that covered. I mean, he did
that's right.
Orange and Blue Today show yesterday from a cabana. It was funny because, he's got music playing because he's over at the stadium swim at Circa. And at first I thought he was in a hotel room. I'm like, dude, can you close the window or something like this? Why am I hearing the music? He's like, oh, no, I'm in a cabana. It was just wild.
Oh, my gosh.
So Cecil is living his best life.
Hey, how many comic books can you fit in that cabana?
Thousands.
Thousands.
Oh, man. But
okay, well, Mace, break it down for us. We talked a little bit about Shawnee, obviously them adding Frank Clark. What else can you tell us about what you learned down at Broncos yesterday?
Okay, I mean, first of all, just to kind of address Frank Clark really quick, it's really interesting. If you look at, and I mentioned this in my piece at denversports.com, if you look at what they saved on this year's salary cap in terms of Jacob Martin and then Brandon McManus, it adds up to $7.57 million. And if Frank Clark hits every incentive on his contract, it's $7.5 million. Effectively, those cuts happened to bolster the edge and bring in Frank Clark. So that's it was real when I went back and I just went through the numbers. I'm like, oh wow, how convenient, right? So when Sean Payton was talking about cutting McManus and saying, hey, we got other musts that have to be taken care of, this is exactly what he was talking about. So that's
So you're not high on Dalvin Cook then, obviously.
No, I mean they could do it, but here's the thing with Dalvin Cook. Miami has $15 million of cap room. He's from Miami. And then the third layer of it, which Stink pointed out when I was on this morning with him and Matt Smith, is that Dalvin Cook, if he goes to Miami's running another version of the Shanahan-McVay offense, just like Kevin Stefanski is, of course, up there, or Kevin O'Donnell. Sorry, Stefanski's in Cleveland. Kevin O'Donnell's running up in Minnesota. So basically, Dalvin Cook can be plug and play and knows exactly what to do when he goes into that scheme in Minnesota, or in Miami, assuming he goes there. He'd have some of a learning curve here. I think everything's adding up for Dalvin Cook to be a Miami Dolphin at this point.
Okay, I agree.
That's the most realistic spot for him to live. Real quick, on the Vikings, do we think last year was a fluke, or do we think they're actually going to be pretty good this year?
They're going to regress. Okay. When you go 11-0 in the regular season in one-score games, as they did, statistically speaking, you are a regression candidate. There's no way they can have that form again. Now, the interesting thing here, they're kind of changing the dynamic a little bit. It's not only Dalvin Cook who's being let go, they're fielding calls on Danielle Hunter, their edge rusher. Now, obviously, I don't think the Broncos would be in the mix for Danielle Hunter now that they've got Frank Clark. They've taken care of that. But it's really interesting to see the Vikings. They're kind of trying to walk this path here of maybe making some more judicious moves. They're trying to clear space for Justin Jefferson's contract, but also they're in a spot where Kirk Cousins, if they cut him next year, they have no dead money. So do they view Kirk Cousins as their guy? I mean, because you have the GM and coach tandem came in last year replacing Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman. I mean, George Payton, brilliant timing. He got, I mean, if he had not moved on to the Broncos, he might have been caught up in all the changes that happened in Minnesota. And so now he's here. Anyway, so a previous administration signed Kirk Cousins. Could they be looking in a different direction next year? And it's fascinating with Minnesota because that's a winnable division right now. Aaron Rodgers is gone. The Bears are really interesting, but still rebuilding. And the Lions, everyone's kind of got them as the it team, but I've seen this before. I mean, when I'm thinking of the Lions, even though they've got some talent, sometimes I get 2007 Browns vibes or 2008 Browns vibes. And what I mean by that is 2007, the Browns go 10-6 and miss the playoffs. They're really close. Everyone's like, oh, finally, they're breaking through. They're breaking through. Their quarterback, I believe, was, if I'm not mistaken, Derek Anderson. Derek Anderson never did much of anything after that. So now you look at the Lions. They got a great season out of Jared Goff, but Goff has been kind of hit and miss in his career. Everyone is crowning the Lions. They're putting him on Thursday night football prime spot to open the season in Kansas City, which tells you what the NFL thinks the Lions are coming. But who knows? And so Minnesota is making these moves that maybe are kind of weakening them in the short term in a division and even a conference that is kind of there for the taking. So it's a little bit curious, but I think in Minnesota, they're thinking that 13-4 season, because of all the close wins, that was a fluke. But if they go 500 in those games, or let's say they go a little bit, they go 6-5, a little bit above 500. I mean, they're still an 8-9 win team there. So it's not like they're that far off. So it's really interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I'm struggling with some travel plans this fall. I've got a bachelorette party, and so I'm trying to get a flight to get back early enough for that Vikings game. But if they're going to be bad, then I'm like, I watch it.
Rachel, don't do anything to sacrifice fun for the Vikings game. Is that Wait, is that what that was all about just right there?
And here, right? You're talking about Vikings Broncos here.
I could have, Rachel, Mase is extraordinary, but I got to answer that question for you in a second and a half. Have fun with the girls. We'll see you next time. Don't worry about it.
What's so interesting is, like, in my head, I'm still thinking, okay, well, it was Nathaniel Hackett, Kevin O'Connell. Like, I really liked Kevin O'Connell. So in my head,
let me break the NFL down for you.
It's no longer relevant.
The two most uninteresting games are road non-conference games. Then after that are home non-conference games. And then you go road conference games just in the AFC. And then you go home games. And then you go road division games. And the most important games to not miss are home division games.
Okay.
And there's only 3 of them.
I disagree with that.
Of course you do.
Okay.
Because every game's a Super Bowl.
Here's the thing. First of all, I think you said interesting. I get what you're saying if we're talking about tie break. There's in terms of tie break, the least important game on the Broncos schedule this year is Washington week 2.
Yes, road. No, wait, that's a home game. Home games matter more than road games.
No, but it's home interconference against a team that's not going to come into play in any divisional tie breakers because they're not a common opponent. Okay, that's why. But I actually think a lot of interconference games are interesting because you don't see these teams that often.
Mate, stop. We were just trying to figure out
once every 4 years.
We were just trying to figure out if Rachel should have fun with her girlfriend.
Oh, she should go. But she should go. If it were Broncos Chiefs, she should go.
Ooh, well, you don't think they're going to win at least one this year, Mase? Will we break the streak?
Maybe, but you're talking about fun with a big time with your friends. It's an unforgettable weekend.
I know.
Football games are fun, but they come and go. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's what I'm going to tell my boss when I take the day off. That's what I'm going to tell James when I take the day off.
Hey, did I just step into a rom-com? Are we somewhere in the montage rom-com of Rachel's life?
Like Ted Lasso, I believe in rom-com.
I think we're in like the montage. Like if the story is Rachel's life and her girlfriend's getting married, but her boyfriend's giving her C- and hasn't dropped the question on her, and we're going through the rom-com where Rachel is like the only woman working with a bunch of guys, and we're trying to figure out like her life. This is the montage. You and I are in the montage, and a part of it was breaking down the stupid Minnesota Vikings.
Well, and also, Rachel, what was going on with this hike here? I heard DMac talking about it on the radio.
I know. I fell. My poor dog we were going down some steps. She was attached to my waist. She went down faster than I did, rolled the ankle. It's a sad day. I'm on the mend though. I took my first steps on it today, and after 3 days, that's a good sign. So I got to get ready for my concert tomorrow night, game 5 on Monday.
You're feeling better. All right.
We're rolling. Thanks, DMac, for the support on my ankle, though. Unless you were making fun of me in my rom-com situation.
No, I just know this is we're like 35% through the rom-com where we set up what Rachel does for a living, and she works with a bunch of nerds like us, and it's talking about Beauty and the Beast.
I love my job because I get to work with you guys 100%.
Oh, right. Okay.
Let's get into, though, a saying I don't think I've ever heard coming out of Garrett Bolles. Something to do with crows, Mase. Give it to me. Explain this to me.
Yeah. Okay. DMac, you were there as well. How would you describe the Garrett Bolles press conference? It was about 6 minutes yesterday. And to say he was snippy, I'd say was accurate.
I think Garrett Bolles is a good dude. I think he's an awesome husband and father. I think he does incredible charity work. He's just not a very good actor. And that's what I thought we were seeing yesterday. He was he's actually a big sort of teddy bear guy, and he was trying to sort of act tough and sort of act, like it's, I got your back, Russ. And, and listen, let me tell you, if he's trying to act tough, he certainly looks like it because he's a mountain of a man and he looks in wonderful, incredible physical condition. But I don't even think that's who Garrett Bolles really is. I think that was a complete act to try to be, us against the world. And that's all I took it was.
Okay.
So it's cool. Yeah. I'm glad he's back. I think guys look for motivation and chips on their shoulder wherever they can find him from. And I'm not saying he was disingenuous. He probably was upset. that people were attacking somebody that he has fierce loyalty to. I believe all of that. But, I mean, it's a Thursday in June at an OTA. I mean, we're not exactly, going into war right now. It's June, and Josie Jewell comes back. And Josie Jewell looks like he's about to go to the pool deck with our guy, Jake Shapiro. Like Josie Jewell, who's a very, very intense competitor, he comes in and he's just like, hey, how's everybody doing? Nobody's attacking you in June. Nobody's coming to get you in June. And, Bolles just had that attitude, but I am fine with it. That's the chip on his shoulder. I respect it. I know he hates my guts, so I'm not going to say anything. So I'll just let it play.
Okay. Here's my retort to that. Garrett, you guys saw The Blind Side years ago, right?
Yeah. Love the movie.
Okay, the whole thing, remember one of the things they say that Michael Oher scored high on was protective instinct.
Yes.
Garrett, if you gave that test, whatever it was, to Garrett Bolles, he would score high on protective instinct. I mean, this is a guy who, he said in past years, he views protecting the quarterback like protecting his wife. I think in that environment, the moment the name Russell Wilson came up from the media and he knows what kind of slings and arrows. And remember, Russ isn't just taking the slings and arrows from the media. He's taking it from former teammates. Remember what Luke Wilson, his old tight end, said after the Charger game, just went off, said, basically it was washed. Justin Tucker, mimicking the high knees. So it's come from all sides to Russell Wilson. And I think just if somebody who is an outsider mentions Russell Wilson and trying to bounce back in the season he had last year, I think something just kind of clicked. I think it's that protective instinct that whether it's on the field or whether it's there at a press conference, that he wants to protect his guy.
Yeah, so
I don't think it was acting. I think it was him. No, I think that's him. I think that is accurately Garrett Bolles. I think that's him.
All right.
What was his one-word answer that he gave?
At the end?
Yeah.
Oh, was he asked about or not at the end? Wasn't he asked like bouncing back and being back to his old form? Like, whether he could be a Pro Bowler for the first time or something like that. And he just said something like, watch and see, basically.
I don't know. Then he told us all to eat. He told everybody to eat crow about a quarterback that's paid $50 million to win 4 games and had his own quarterbacks coach and was drawing up his own plays. And, was, I don't know, Garrett, do you really want me to break down what happened last year, dude? Or, okay, Garrett, we'll play this game. Let's all just sit there while you spend 2 firsts, 2 seconds, Shelby Harris, Drew Lock, Noah Fant, and you got 4 wins out of it. Okay, Garrett, let's break it down. I mean, I hate to be a jerk here. I guess I'm going in this direction, but it's 7 years of doing nothing, dude. So for you and Justin Simmons and all these other guys on the team that are long-standing vets, you haven't done squadouche, man. And I'll tell you, just look down the street and look at Nathan McKinnon, what he said they hadn't done before they won the Cup. Look at what Michael Malone and the Nuggets are saying before they win a championship. So you want to get up there and tell us all about how you're going to protect, Russell Wilson and eat crow? I mean, how about you win? I mean, if we're going to have this conversation, okay, Garrett, tough guy. I mean, you're going to do this? Well, go out and win, dude. How about taking some accountability for yourselves? How about saying it wasn't good enough? A lot of the criticism we brought on ourselves because we didn't win games. Okay, but I like Garrett Bolles. This sounds like I'm ripping him. I'm not trying to. I actually like him and I do respect him. I do. But if we want to go the other side of the coin, it's not hard. I mean, we can have that debate. And for anybody to say that people were unfair to criticize the Broncos, they just fired all their coaches, guys. Again. I mean, how many head coaches has Garrett Bolles had?
Mase, real quick before you answer this, it is Ask Us Anything Friday, so drop your comments in the questions. We'll get to some of them after this. Go ahead, Mase.
Okay, the one thing, though, is I think when you're talking about the critiques of Russell Wilson, I think the football critiques are absolutely fair game. And there's a lot there. I do believe a lot of it last year became weirdly personal. That, I think, is what Garrett Bolles is talking about. Like some of it,
like what? Give me an example.
Okay. I
His
think
social media.
What
Or the
about
fact that he did high knees on a plane.
he brought that up?
The
He wasn't even
danger
asked about it. He brought that up.
The danger wicks going back to an old commercial. And then all of a sudden, people having fun with the airplane thing of it. So, or Kyle Brandt going on NFL Network and basically saying that Russell Wilson was a phony. That's the sort of thing that I thought crossed the line last year.
Oh.
And I think that's what Garrett Bolles was referring to more than just the straight up football stuff. Because because I'll say this for Bolles,
cool.
Bolles gets why he was criticized from a football perspective. Like if you ask him about the first few years, he'll tell you like he had to get better. Like that's the thing. He's actually, like, as you know, DMac, he's a really good dude, and he does get it. I'll say that.
Let me be clear. He's a good dude. I've said it. I'll say it again. Family, husband, father, dealing with some tough stuff with his kids, charity.
Yeah.
I got nothing but good things to say.
And he did it after a really tough upbringing too.
He's improved as a player, and he deserves. And he was one of the rare guys to be a first-round draft pick, to not have a fifth year extended, to earn a new contract from his team. I mean, there's been like 3 or 4 of those guys in NFL history. He's one of them. So I'm thrilled that he's back. I think he's going to be a really important player for the Broncos and all that. It's just like I do bristle a little bit when you want to come after us, I guess. And the whole eat crow thing. I mean, who's supposed to eat crow? I mean, like, what person out there? I was critical of Russell Wilson. Am I going to eat crow if a guy makes $50 million, plays well? I'm not going to eat crow. There's some, and we've been very harsh too on management, coaches, other people as well. I hate to bring it to your attention, Garrett, as we go here, but they just fired the guy to your right, Dalton Reisner. If you didn't notice, they fired him.
And then Bolles said some interesting things about his replacement, Ben Powers, because that was another comment. When he was asked about Ben Powers, his response was, it's nice to have a dog in my room.
Yeah, but then he went on and said everybody's a dog, and then he loves
everyone in the room. So what?
Okay.
So now, but he's like, you got dogs in the room now. I'm like, okay, did you not have them before?
No, I wouldn't. I know what you're saying, Mason. It makes sense, but I think Garrett just falls into these cliches and starts ripping off cliche after cliche, and I really seriously wouldn't look into kind of anything he says other than the fact he's healthy, and I'm glad he's back. I get it. Everybody can eat it. We can all eat crow, and everybody's awesome. And, we don't know Wilson like he knows Wilson because, okay, I get it. But I'll tell you this. We know more about the history than Garrett Bolles. I guarantee you that. We know why guys were fired more than Garrett Bolles does. I promise you that. We know what was going on with the draft and free agency and the history of the team. And we can compare the Broncos not only to old Broncos teams, but to current Avs and Nuggets teams if we want to talk about championship medal. I know we know more about that than he does. So that's what we talk about, okay? That's what we talk about. If you want us to eat crow and have us all shut up, I guess, then go freaking win. And you know what? It's okay to say that too. You could say, man, I didn't like what I heard, but I know it's on us to win. The end. And if you want to, listen, I got another thing too. If you don't want to do interviews, okay? If you don't want to do interviews, if you want to be short and, have all sorts of attitude, don't do them. Don't do them. You don't need to do us any favors. You put the PR people of the Broncos in a bad spot. We sit around the room after a press session like that, and we're all like, okay, all right. And it doesn't look good too. When Josie Jewell walks in the room is a total professional and is introspective and all that. So don't do them. You know what? I learned a long time ago, Matt Paradis didn't want to do interviews. I learned that, right? How did I learn that? I did an interview with him, and it was terrible. And I know he's a nice guy. He doesn't want to do interviews. So guess what? I never asked Matt Paradis another question for the entire time he was there. And I understand he's a good dude. I get it. I'm sick of talking to guys that put off an air like they don't have the time or want to be bothered by it. We don't need you. See ya. Bye.
Okay,
ya.
no longer ask us anything, which DMac, I'm going to ask you. I know, he was fired up. So this is going to be even funnier. When are you going to start getting into the Avs trade and free agency options? DMac, you can go ahead and answer that.
The Avs?
Yeah, free agency.
It starts relatively soon. The draft is actually not that far away. I think the draft is only a couple weeks away, maybe. So it happens pretty damn quick. And I think there's like 7-8 guys that they got to make free agency deals on, like quite a few. So when are we're kind of messing around with it now. We're kind of aware of it. We're just, hey man, we got Nuggets fever. What can I tell you? And we got a slight case of the Broncos off to the side. So, it's just not really quite that time. But we'll talk about it. We'll be into it when it happens.
There's no Rockies malaria, Rockies malaise.
Actually,
the Rockies are.
Hold on.
The Rockies are like a relative you see on the holidays. Like, you don't really think about them until you go over somebody else's house and they're there. And you're like, oh, Uncle Bob, how you doing? You all right? You good? Everything's all right. I'll see you next year.
Thoughts on the news of Bud Black possibly not returning as manager after the All-Star break?
Oh,
who's putting that out there?
That was just one of the questions we got. I haven't heard that.
Wait. Okay. Is that question from a certain tweeter who often says that Bud Black's about to be fired? There's one person who goes on Twitter and basically the entire shtick is every Denver coach or manager should be sacked. That's what it sounds like.
Interesting.
Listen, let me give you the truth about baseball. Once these guys get to the major league level, a baseball manager basically rolls the balls out on the field and says, have fun. Nobody is less important in terms of managers than the manager at the major league level. What these guys have done to get there is so difficult and has been analyzed to such a large degree. The decision isn't made by the manager whether the guys are there. All the manager has to do is look at the bench, look at the players he's been given, and say, play. That's it. And pitching is all laid out for you too. It is, okay? It's really not that complicated. And the degree of analytics that goes into everything, all a manager has to do is say, okay, what's going on? The most important thing a manager has to do is keep a clubhouse together. But that only matters if you have the talent and you're competitive. There's nothing you can do when you just have a bad, inexperienced, or young team. Guys, nothing. There's nothing you can do. So you want to fire Bud Black? Fine. You want to keep Bud Black? Fine. What you really get is at the championship playoff, highly competitive level where the margins are slim. The margins aren't slim for the Rockies. They're in last place. They're 11 or 12 games back. There's no slim margins. All we can hope for the Rockies is sunshine so we can go to a game or two.
The other thing also on the Rockies, how Bud Black, there's really not much he can do. They don't have CJ Cron right now. Chris Bryant's back on the IL. They lost Brendan Rodgers in spring training. Right. And the pitching is so shaky that right now, every 5 days, they are throwing Dinelson Lamet out there.
Right.
I'm sorry. My apologies. He's awful. Okay. He's had 2 starts. He's been shelled 4 times. Both times he hasn't made it past the 3rd inning. And that's why, you're sitting there on, you're sitting there on Wednesday night. You're actually getting a quality start and you get literally a no-hitter going into the 6th inning. And then the bullpen implodes. The Rockies have one of the 5 worst bullpens in baseball right now. What can Bud Black do? You can't ask the chef to make a 5-star meal when you're giving him cardboard and spam. And that's where the Rockies sit right now. And that's why if they do get a good crowd, it's usually because you look down the third base line like on Wednesday night and see about 10,000 people wearing orange and black for the Giants.
Ooh, okay, last question. What are your pets' names and what did the names come from? Where did the names come from? DMac, I saw your cat above you earlier. Go ahead.
Well, of course, we had our beloved Glammeow, named after a Pokemon character, by my 23-year-old who was 7 at the time. And Glammeow has moved on. Sad. And so we have 2 barn cats from Nebraska that my wife took it. And my younger son got to name them, and it is a true story. He named them after Friends because he was watching Friends. So we have Ross and Rachel.
Oh, like
that is a true story. Has nothing to do with Rachel, but I actually do have a cat named Rachel.
I love it. Mase, do you have any pets?
I have 2 dogs.
Nice.
Ruby and Cooper. Ruby, my daughter Charlotte was born in July. Ruby is the birthstone of that month.
Oh, wow.
And also, my daughter was very much into Scooby-Doo as a little kid, and one of the fringe dudes was Ruby Doo. So Ruby just kind of became one of them. Cooper, I think like we let my daughter pick that. It's funny. She picked Ruby. We settled on Ruby, and then she picked the name Cooper. I don't know where that came from. I mean, the first Cooper I thought of was the Manning brother who didn't make it to the NFL, unfortunately, because of a neck injury. And that was Cooper Manning. And I don't know. It just kind of fits. And then before that, we had Rupert and George. My wife, before we started dating, named George. And then Rupert was named after the teddy bear on Family Guy. Stewie's teddy bear was named Rupert.
Nice.
And that's where I got that from.
Do you occasionally call your dog Cooper Cupper?
No,
Cooper.
I no.
Because that's what happens to Cooper Manning, Cupper.
Yeah.
Cupper.
Yeah.
By the way, I understand Rachel has a dog, and she named the dog after me. Calls it Jerk.
I'm trying to get her to come up here. Let's see.
It's a joke.
Come here.
Same attempt.
Yep. Come on. Yep. Come
Oh, who's that, Rach?
This is Mia. I can't really get her to
Mia,
do
of
it.
course.
Oh,
The famous Mia.
The famous Mia. She hates me right now.
Hi,
Anyways,
Mia.
everyone, this is Mia.
Mia.
75-pound German Shepherd lab mix. She hates everything right now. I just woke her up.
That's like a dog.
Yeah.
That's like just like, a dog's dog. Right
Yeah,
there.
but my dogs are like, I mean, they're like 15, 16 pounds. I mean, if I were back in Wisconsin, they would be hopping up on my lap right now as I'm doing the show.
Should I try to grab one of my cats?
The show's going way too long, but yeah, we're gonna do one cat.
Rachel, hi Rachel.
In case you didn't know, DMac's cats hate him. So
similar to the other Rachel, she's scared of me.
All right, though, everybody. Happy Friday. Go Nuggets tonight. We will see you guys all back here Monday, 10:30 a.m. for another episode of Coffee Break. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us. Bye.